Have you ever noticed something strange about Bitcoin? It doesn't fall when you expect it to. It falls when you finally start feeling okay. You hold through stress. You survive boring weeks. And the moment you think, all right, maybe this is turning around, that's when your phone lights up. Red candles. Your chest tightens. And suddenly this thing that was supposed to be about the future feels very real in the present. Rent, bills, groceries. If that sounds familiar, stay with me, because this isn't random, and today I want to explain why. Not in a dramatic way, not in a conspiracy way, but in a very human way. Because what's really moving Bitcoin right now isn't technology, it's psychology. Most people think Bitcoin moves because of news, a tweet, a government headline, a big announcement, and sometimes, sure, those things matter. But they don't explain why drops always seem to hit your emotional breaking point. They don't explain why millions of smart people buy high and sell low, even when they promised themselves they wouldn't. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Bitcoin isn't just a financial asset anymore. It's a psychological experiment happening in real time. And large institutions figured out how to participate in that experiment, not by hacking Bitcoin, not by controlling the network, but by understanding how humans behave under pressure. That's the loophole. They don't manipulate Bitcoin. They influence you. Let me explain this simply. Banks and institutions don't need to own every Bitcoin to move the market. They can use financial tools that let them bet on price. They can place massive positions. They can push price toward areas where everyday traders have automatic sell orders. And once price reaches those levels, something important happens. Stop losses trigger. Leverage gets wiped. Fear spreads. Selling becomes automatic. Not because everyone suddenly changed their beliefs, but because the system forces exits. It's like tipping the first domino. After that, gravity does the rest. Here's what makes this powerful. They know where fear lives on the chart. They know where retail traders usually give up. They know how long people emotionally tolerate uncertainty. So they don't fight Bitcoin. They work around it. They let human behavior do the heavy lifting. Now pause for a second. Think about the last time Bitcoin dropped sharply. What did you feel? Did your stomach sink? Did you start scrolling Twitter? Did you suddenly care about price more than you had all week? That's not weakness, that's biology. Your nervous system doesn't understand long-term investing. It understands danger. Red candles look like danger. Silence feels like danger. Uncertainty feels like danger. Your brain doesn't care about decentralization. It cares about survival. And that's where most people lose. Not because they lack intelligence, because fear hijacks logic. Most people miss this next part, but it explains everything. Markets don't take your money first. They take your peace, then your patience, then your confidence. And once those are gone, your money usually follows. Let me give you a real-life example. Remember 2020? Toilet paper disappeared. Not because people suddenly needed more, but because they saw others panic. So they joined. Markets work the same way. You see price falling. You see panic online. Your brain assumes someone else knows something you don't. So you act. That's herd behavior. It's ancient. It kept humans alive thousands of years ago. But in financial markets, it quietly drains your account. Greed does the opposite. Price goes up. Everyone posts screenshots. Suddenly you feel behind. So you buy right when institutions are slowly selling. Then impatience finishes the job. You don't give investments time. You want results now. So you jump in and out, overtrade, second guess everything. And slowly, without realizing it, you transfer money to people who can wait longer than you. That's the real game, not price. Time. Banks don't win because they're smarter. They win because they're calmer. They don't chase green candles. They don't panic on red days. They don't need fast results. They have systems. They have patience. They let retail traders exhaust themselves emotionally. Then they step in quietly. No excitement, no tweets, just accumulation. While you're watching charts, they're watching behavior. That's the edge. Let me tell this as a story. Imagine two people, same age, same income. Both discover Bitcoin around the same time. The first person checks price every day. They feel every dip. They chase every pump. They sell when scared. They buy when hopeful. 5 years later, they're tired, emotionally drained. Their portfolio barely moved. The second person buys slowly. They ignore most headlines. They add during boring periods. They keep living their life. They don't try to time every move. 5 years later, they don't brag. They don't post screenshots. But their financial situation quietly changed. Same market, same asset, different relationship with emotion. I've been both of those people. I've panic sold bottoms. I've FOMO bought tops. I've stared at charts instead of sleeping. And every bad financial decision I ever made came from the same place. Not lack of knowledge, emotion. Once I realized that, everything shifted. Not overnight, not dramatically, just slowly. I stopped reacting. I started thinking in years, and the noise got quieter. Here's something nobody talks about. Volatility has an emotional cost. Every sharp move steals attention. Every red day steals peace. Every green day creates expectation. And slowly, your life starts orbiting around a price. You check charts at lunch. You refresh before bed. You wake up hoping the market did something while you slept. That's not investing. That's living inside volatility. Institutions don't live like that. They don't need Bitcoin to pay rent. They don't need it to work this month. They can wait. Time favors whoever needs money the least. That's uncomfortable to hear, but it explains everything. They let human behavior do the heavy lifting. What makes this even more fascinating is that nothing here requires perfect timing. Institutions don't need to predict the exact top or bottom. They just need to understand averages. They know that most people can only tolerate uncertainty for so long. They know boredom pushes people to overtrade. They know fear compresses decision-making. So instead of trying to be right about price, they're right about people. They design strategies around how long humans can stay calm, how quickly they react to losses, and how desperately they want relief when things feel out of control. That's not market genius. That's behavioral math. Here's the turning point. You stop asking, what's Bitcoin doing? And start asking, how am I reacting? That's power, because you can't control markets, but you can control behavior. You can control position size. You can control expectations. You can control patience. That's how you opt out of manipulation, not by fighting banks, by refusing to emotionally participate. So what do you actually do? You stop treating Bitcoin like a lottery ticket. You only invest money you don't need for rent or groceries. You build a small emergency buffer. You avoid staring at charts all day. You accept discomfort as part of investing. You understand that boring consistency beats emotional timing. Nothing extreme, nothing dramatic, just steady, calm behavior. That's it. Bitcoin will rise again, and it will fall again. That's not the story. The story is who you become during the swings. Do you become anxious or grounded? Do you chase noise or build quietly? Because wealth isn't created in excitement. It's created in doubt. When headlines are loud, when patience feels hard, when doing nothing feels uncomfortable. So breathe. Zoom out. Remember that progress beats perfection. The market rewards calm. It punishes panic. And the most valuable investment you'll ever make is learning to stay steady when everything feels uncertain. I'll see you in the long term.